It's okay.
What? Oh.
It's hat day.
Oh, I see.
All right. Now are we good?
Now we're good.
Now we're good. Now I can say it again.
Yeah.
Melanie's here. I'm very excited. Yay. Hi, everybody. And welcome to the stream.
All right, it is working, but it's very. I gotta make that a little bit bigger or something. But
What are you trying to do?
well, when people post chat, it'll actually pop up on the screen.
Oh. Okay. But I'm ready to go into bed. I'll listen while I'm falling asleep. Looking forward to listening to the rest tomorrow. Hi, Angela. Hi, Ren. Hi, Clint.
Hello.
I'm just excited Melanie's here. She's never been here before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Mike's here. He can hang out. That's awesome. Good stuff.
Nice. Everyone's here.
Thank you. This was actually a Secret Santa gift. My Secret Santa at work got me this shirt. I love it. It's so funny, too. Lois literally has no idea which books I like. And she got me an Order of the Phoenix shirt, which is one of my favorites.
Coincidence? Probably.
I think not.
Probably.
Hello, Z Beauty.
Hello, Z. Hi, Katie.
Oh, and Katie. Yay. It's popping.
It is.
Popping in the chat.
So, we're trying some new things. We got some new things going on. So, if there's any technical difficulties, just let us know.
Yeah, if y'all have issues, you can't hear us, you can't see us, things are slow, let us know. I can't help, but he'll do it. I can't.
Oh, Krissa, here from the start.
Woo woo.
I mean, it is the 69th stream. It's gotta be. Oh, thank you. It has a lot of cat hair on it. Our cat arm was just on me, but other than that, yeah.
It is
Picasso Yoda.
No, it is Van Gogh
Or
Grogu.
Van Gogh.
It's Van Gogh Starry Night Grogu.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's awesome. It's like my favorite art style mixed with Ramona's favorite character ever.
It's a win-win. What's that? Hi, Lola.
But
Hi, Lola.
As for the characters we're here to discuss.
Well, I just wanted to bring up a comment first. I wanted to
Mike, I got confused when we were talking about it too.
I went to art school for a reason.
Yeah,
I got you.
You got to know.
I got you guys. Don't worry.
It's a spin for you not to know.
No, Lola. No, Lola. So I have two comments. Both of them actually are Melanie Lee's comments, and I just wanted to bring them up. The first one's just funny. This is her response to Owl Post from book 3, where she says, Hedwig doesn't want these flashy tropical birds to drink from her water tray. Hedwig is a xenophobe.
Hedwig, how dare you? That's funny though.
That just cracked me up. It's just like, that's great. I love it.
Oh, God, I have like a tickle in my. I gotta go get a drink here.
I got 3 drinks. What are you doing? I'm prepared. I don't know. Hedwig is a xenophobe.
Like clearing my.
I just love that.
Time. No one wants that. Okay.
Hello, Lola. What, do you want to come sit? Okay, come sit.
Yes. Join me in the cat hair look.
Lola usually is Hedwig 2024. Make the owlry great again.
Make the owlry great again.
Mrs. Norris can be her running mate. Okay, and then the other comment also by thank you. Lola is very beautiful.
I don't know what she's doing. She's being a Hedwig,
She's being a Hedwig.
perched up on my shoulder.
She being a lovely Doda. Okay. Next comment, also by Melanie Lee, says, I don't remember what chapter it was from, so I apologize about that. While some conservative Christians want to ban Harry Potter because of the witchcraft, other Christians, including me, see Christian symbolism and values all over these books. The Hogwarts professor, John Granger, has written books and articles about Christian symbolism in the Harry Potter books. Speaking of literature, I noticed the absence of literature courses at Hogwarts. Not much in arts and letters in their courses. It's mainly magical equivalencies of natural sciences and social sciences. Any thoughts on that? Number one.
I haven't noticed that. I guess maybe they just expect you to have learned all of that in like Muggle school.
Yeah, but
your primary
wouldn't
school.
there be witch and wizard poets and painters and
Gilderoy Lockhart?
But I mean, we get little snippets of it when like Slughorn and Hagrid are singing the song in book 6 when they're drunk and they're singing the song. Like there's cultural things there, but we just don't really see them. Like there's no wizard art museum. I mean, maybe there is. Maybe it's in France. I don't know. But there
maybe
really
all that
isn't.
stuff just isn't as not important, but impressive, just because magic makes things easier, you know?
Or
like
maybe
you have the quick quotes quill, like, no one has to really write. You just
Or maybe it's like the real world where no one cares about it and it's not given any value.
But it does have value because obviously people are into literature because Gilderoy Lockhart is super famous and he's an author.
I know, but those technically are considered non-fiction.
I guess the only
You never
excuse I
see
could say
anyone
is
reading a novel.
They could expect you to have learned all that in your Muggle school,
right?
Your primary school,
right? But those would be Muggle artists.
Yeah.
What about the wizard artists?
Well, you take what you've learned and then you apply it to that.
No, that's no. What about because wizards have magic? Wouldn't they have maybe developed different kinds of art styles? Wouldn't there be famous wizard paintings or famous wizard classical musicians and composers, like that kind of stuff?
I feel like they've mentioned like classical wizard composer.
There is someone the portraits. Right, but the arts are academic.
Yeah, but maybe it's just an elective and maybe none of them took that elective. So we never saw it.
Or Angela says maybe they get into that later.
Or that, yeah. I mean, we never saw year 7.
No, we didn't. That's true. We did never see.
There's that.
We did never see year 7. That's a fact. But, I think there's a valid point there. Also, maybe we would get more of a perspective if Harry was into art or into music. He's very much a jock.
Yeah.
So
because they do kind of mention the whole what's it? Musical instruments. I think they mention a few different musical instruments, like wizard musical instruments, because
someone in the Weird Sisters plays a lute.
Yeah.
That's not a wizard instrument.
No, but I think they mention the name of something, and Harry was like, I don't know what that is, but
Katie says that she thinks the main career prospects in the wizarding world are at the ministry, and so a lot of classes are focused on that. And then Hogwarts is steeped in tradition and probably think the classes available are what would benefit the wizarding world most.
Could also be. Very good point.
I think we could also be talking about that trend about there's such a heavy, even wizards know that algebra is useless.
Except Hermione. She took arithmetic.
Arithmancy.
Arithmancy.
Wizard maths. Wizard maths. I take this. I take this. I take these. But maybe it's a parallel to how the modern world operates, where we place no value on the liberal arts, as it were.
And
I mean, maybe there's a school that you can go to after Hogwarts where you can learn to be a magic painter or something. Maybe there's like a specific school for that. Like how there's art schools and dance schools and stuff. Maybe there's
this up at one point. Is there like a university, a wizard university or wizard college after Hogwarts?
We don't know. Maybe there is like the arts. Maybe there like the art school that I went to. Maybe there is some kind of magical arts academy or something, but we don't know about it because very few people go there, and it's all from Harry's perspective, so he wouldn't know.
I mean, we did only learn about like 3 schools, so.
Mike says he imagines that they would probably just go to a wizard painter and is trained by them, like after Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So maybe like a traditional apprentice master kind
that
of
makes sense,
relationship.
that's like the old school way of doing it.
Yeah. That could be it.
I think that could
work. That could work. That would fit. But the other part of the comment, I just wanted to give Melanie a shout out for mentioning John Granger, because inspired by John Granger, we are currently working on a Harry Potter ring theory series of videos where we explore the parallels within the Harry Potter series. And I just thought it was cool that she mentioned his writings about Christian symbolism in Harry Potter and how it's everywhere, and the irony that Christians want to ban Harry Potter when it is in fact chock full of Christian symbolism. Most apparent in Deathly Hallows. I think it's most obvious in Deathly Hallows.
Well, yeah.
It's almost overt in Deathly Hallows in comparison to the other novels. Melanie says she uses algebra all the time.
I mean, math was made to explain the natural world, so math comes up a lot.
Maybe other countries have wizarding schools that teach the arts. Like how we have schools that are known for the sciences. Yeah, maybe Italy has like a lot of art schools for wizards.
Yeah.
We don't really know. I think the capacity is there, we just don't get the exposure.
And then maybe, Beauxbaton has like a cooking school.
Oh my god, I bet Beauxbaton has a cooking area. And there is like this one witch who is witch Julia Child, just teaching. Now remember, lots of butter. That's the key, butter. Yes, Harry Potter ring theory is steeped in the alchemical tradition, and John Granger goes into detail about how the entire 7 books are both a progression and reversal of the literary alchemical process. So there's a lot of literary alchemy in Harry Potter too. Our focus is just on the ring theory in and of itself and all the parallels within the books, and then expanding out into the wider series. So we are currently working on all of the parallel ring theory videos for book 1. We're
Yep.
putting those together.
Scripts are done. The videos are being put together.
Scripts are done. Videos are being put together. So we will have our first series of ring theory videos about book 1 out soon.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be working on book 2 shortly. But Christian symbolism in Harry Potter, there is a lot. I know, Katie, right? I was very pleasantly surprised when Melanie mentioned John Granger. It was very exciting.
I feel like I have to look into more John Granger.
Oh, he's awesome.
Seems like, has he just done Harry Potter? Or does he do this for a lot of different series or like
his PhD work was on Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
You can he has his own website. You can look him up and
So he's definitely heavy on Harry Potter.
Yeah, big time.
Gotcha.
He argues that Harry Potter is not children's literature. It is in fact an inheritor of true classic literature.
Mm.
All right, Melanie, we will see you later. Thank you for popping in, and yeah, by all means, check out what happens later on after, for sure.
Definitely. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah.
Or afternoon, depending on where you are.
The Hogwarts Professor, that's the website.
Oh, okay.
Harry Potter ring theory lost me there. So ring theory suggests that a story essentially ends where it starts, and the entire story, when it starts, goes around, hits a middle point, and comes back to end up right where it was. And Rowling did this and then took it to the nth degree by creating books in which all the chapters parallel each other until you get to the middle point. And then the series as a whole, the books all parallel each other, where book 4 is the middle point and book 4 parallels all the other books. Oh, Melanie's in Queens.
Oh, all right. So you're in New York too.
You're in New York. You're only a few hours away from us. That's awesome. That's a very simple way to describe ring theory, but there it is with Harry Potter.
I think they call it the onion ring theory, right? Where it's multiple rings or something.
Yes, Katie, thank you. We do currently have 3 live streams where we went into and discussed ring theory.
Yes, where basically just broke down and talked about
all the parallels. But now we're going to do videos for every one of the books.
Yeah.
To kind of streamline that process a little bit. But I was on my way home from work today, and I was thinking about all the little Christian themes and things that I thought of when I thought about Harry Potter, other than Harry being Jesus. that is the most obvious.
Jesus Potter.
Yes, Harry Jesus Potter. I thought about the significance of Hufflepuff's cup and the Goblet of Fire kind of being like Holy Grail items. The fact that
diadem, crown of thorns.
The diadem could be the crown of thorns. I also thought about
nothing for the locket.
I thought about the fact that the ministry keeps denying Harry's truths. Almost like Peter denying Jesus. Peter is told, "You'll deny me 3 times," and Harry's truth and what he stands for is just denied over and over.
Yeah.
Although there's great political context to it, I think you could weave in the religious aspect there. You could make the connection. But just other very basic, simple Christian truths like whatever I'm going to butcher it. Whatever you do unto the least of us, you do unto me as well. Not looking down on people, not being condescending, but treating everyone equally.
Yeah.
Or treating everyone with compassion, Harry definitely tries his best.
He does.
Um,
Doesn't always succeed, but he does
no,
try his
but he
best.
tries. Um, the whole snake Satan symbolism is a whole video by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
At least that snake only offered them an apple and didn't, hide inside their bodies for a week.
Who knows how long? Do we really know how long Nagini was inside Batilda? I don't think we
Probably a
know.
while.
It was a hot minute. She stank.
She did.
Yeah,
Wonder if we're gonna get to meet Batilda and all the young dudes.
I don't know. That's a good question. Speaking of all the young dudes, what happened last time?
Oh boy, what did happen last time? Let's see. I don't know because I'm thinking about like chapter 28 that I'm on with editing.
Yeah, we're past that. We're
Yeah, I
on
know.
tonight is episode chapter 100.
Ooh, number 100.
Number
100
100
chapter.
even on the 69th stream. Nice.
Very nice.
Yes, Katie, I would agree. The Christian undertones are very, very subtle, but then she got to book 7 and she was like, I'm gonna put it everywhere. I'm even gonna put a quote from the Bible on Lillian James's headstone. It's just gonna be out there.
She saved it all, built it up, and then just here's everything. Number 7. See what you did there, Rolling. Number 7.
Most magical number. There you go.
But no, what was the last chapter? Tell me the last chapter title, and I can probably remember what happened.
It was the parties and pustules.
Oh, that's right. Was it they threw a big party and then they did the prank with the pustules?
Mm-hmm. The
And-
mushrooms.
Yeah.
The pulsating mushrooms.
And they got caught. And it all blew up in their face.
Well, did they all get caught?
No.
Remember? Peter ran away.
Yeah.
He turned into a rat and he ran away.
How appropriate.
How convenient.
And it blew up in Sirius's face. If that's not foreshadowing, I don't know what is.
Facts. All right, let's just.
But yeah, so Sirius, Lupin, they're all good. And they kind of
Yes,
well,
there were some gross descriptions. A lot of pulsating things that was uncomfortable.
And Lupin and Sirius had an intimate moment. And now they're something. A thing. They don't know what, but it's a thing.
Well, Sirius said don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
So are they a thing?
Well, to each other.
I don't know. Remus isn't really too keen about the whole thing. Oh, well, I guess he kind of is. I guess maybe we should just read the chapter and find out.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Let's find out how they really feel about each other.
Chapter 100. 6th year. Boundaries.
I think we broke the boundaries a while ago. Just before we get started. Cursed Child. We do get asked about this a lot.
Yeah, I answered a few comments about it already.
Child. We're just waiting for a chance to get together with Noelle where we can record it. Because it's written like a play, we feel the easiest way to do it would be that we all kind of act out parts and read it as a play.
And the more people, the merrier.
It's
Make it
gonna
a little
happen.
easier.
We just need to get together and record it at some point.
There's a song.
There's a song at every chapter.
I know, there's always songs. I feel like I need to listen to some David Bowie so that I know what I'm doing.
You really do.
I don't even know what the name of this is. I don't know.
Your homework for the next week.
My homework for the next week is to
David Bowie.
No, it's to start taking notes for Chamber of Secrets ring theory. Okay. I can't help from crying. Oh no, boy, you ain't done nothing wrong. You just make me feel so good, it hurts me. 'Cause I've been without you so long. Now I got a good kind of hurt. I got a good kind of hurt. Oh boy, you make me really come alive.
You kind of, I don't, was that a David Bowie song? If it
No,
was,
it's not. I don't know
okay.
what it
I was
is.
going to say, you kind of went for a Dolly Parton route. It was good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just, like, I was thinking David Bowie, and I'm like,
It's not a David Bowie song as I looked.
okay.
It's probably a punk song, but I did not do that.
Sounded good, whatever it was.
Okay, then.
So, it worked.
Friday, 12th of November, 1976. They were caught, of course, just Sirius and Remus. Peter's quick thinking had got him out of it, and James had run fast enough in time. He wanted to tell McGonagall that the whole thing had been his idea, but Sirius wouldn't let him. Their head of house gave them one of the worst dressing downs they'd had in years, made all the worse by the fact that she was clad in her tartan nightie and dressing down, which was not amusing in the slightest, but extremely terrifying. They stood in her office, heads hung, dripping pus until she dismissed them to bed. 20 house points lost, and detention till Christmas. Ah, well. You both have an hour free before lunch tomorrow, she said as a parting barb. I expect you both to report to the dungeons in order to clean up your mess. Without magic. Sirius was furious, and after he'd washed, he went to bed without another word. Pete sat on the end of his own bed, looking pale-faced and worried. I'm really sorry, he whispered to Remus desperately. I panicked. Sometimes I just lose control when I'm scared. It's okay, Remus replied tiredly. It's only detention. Anyway, James piped up from his bed, they didn't find any of the puffballs we hid yet. James was quite right, and in a sublime twist of fate, the Bobo-Tuber puffballs exploded early next morning, just as most of the Slytherin students were on their way from the dungeons to the Great Hall for breakfast, so at least the evening had not been a total waste of time. It was you two? Lily stared at Remus, amazed when he told her why he couldn't meet her in the library before lunch. Not Black and Potter? Black and you? You don't have to act that surprised, he frowned. I'm capable of being an idiot as much as anyone else is. No, but I thought you and Sirius were on the outs. Why would you think that? Oh, something Mary said, I suppose. What did Mary say? Remus felt a flare of heat shoot up his neck. Had Sirius told Mary something? Some stupid slip of the tongue while they were cozying up together? I don't know. Lily looked mildly surprised. Ask her, I really can't remember. I just thought she said something about the two of you not talking. Anyway, if you could please try not to destroy any more bathrooms this year. Gryffindor's got the lowest house points already, and it's not even Christmas. The surprise corridor attacks had lost 20 more house points from Gryffindor and an extra night's detention for Remus and Sirius. James was terribly guilty, but Sirius's sense of chivalry and honour got in the way, and he still wouldn't let him confess. Of course, it was a very different story later that day when he and Remus were standing outside the cordoned-off bathroom, waiting for Filch to arrive with buckets and mops. Bloody Wormtail. It's all his fault. No, it isn't. Remus yawned, leaning against the wall. He hadn't had enough sleep. That little twerp ran away like the vermin he is. Hey, be nice, Remus frowned. He only did that because someone got overexcited and blew up all those mushrooms. I was thinking on my feet. Sirius raised his chin defiantly. You weren't thinking at all. Well, you weren't doing anything.
I was trying to hide it. If we'd hidden the box and got under the cloak, no one would have got in trouble at all. Well, you didn't say at the time, Sirius snapped. You didn't give me a chance. He still didn't have to run away, though. Sirius folded his arms, leaning against the opposite wall. Tired and grumpy, Remus spat back. James ran away too. Don't see you cursing his name. Sirius stared at him furiously. How dare anyone speak against James Potter in the presence of Sirius Black? Remus rolled his eyes and stared at the ceiling until Filch arrived. Argus Filch was one of the most unpleasant adults Remus had ever met. Matron would have liked him. A bitter, spiteful, creeping man on the wrong side of middle age, Filch was a caretaker and a sneak, who seemed to hate students more than anyone who worked in a school really ought to. This was never more evident than when he was permitted to administer detentions. He dropped 2 large buckets at their feet with a malicious grin on his face and pushed the door open. Overnight, the pus seemed to have dried and left a thick yellowish crust over most of the surfaces it had hit. Remus wrinkled his nose. Filch handed them both mops and scrubbing brushes. I'll be back to check on you in 2 hours, he said. You're ought to be done by then. No wands, and no funny business. He sneered as he left them to it. Remus looked at Sirius, who was obviously still annoyed with him. He straightened his back. I'll start over here. He nodded to the far end of the bathroom. You go over there. He indicated the opposite end. Fine, Remus suggested. Remus shrugged, lifting his bucket and filling it at the sink. Yes, actually, this was perfect. They'd keep to their own sides and just get this stupid thing over with. Sirius still wasn't talking to him and turned his back, working in silence. Remus followed suit. 2 could play at that game. Sirius was making it much easier. Remus would never admit it, but he didn't mind cleaning and actually found it quite satisfying. As disgusting as the pus looked, it came away from the white tile easily with a bit of soap and water, so the work wasn't too physically taxing until it came to wiping down the walls. This was harder just because of all the reaching and stretching, which tired him out and made his shoulders ache. Additionally, Bobatuba pus wasn't actually pus, according to the herbology textbook Remus had skimmed in a hurry before turning up to clean it. It wasn't dirty or toxic. In fact, it had healing properties, and while this gunk was from an accidental crossbred strain, it probably couldn't do any more harm than pumpkin juice. The little bathroom was eerily quiet, with the 2 boys silently working and only the occasional sloshing sound of them filling up their buckets or swabbing the floor. Remus didn't mind the cold atmosphere either, and actually helped him concentrate. He'd known for a long time that his feelings for Sirius rarely got in the way of his ability to be irritated by Sirius. By the time the first hour was up, they'd managed to remove all trace of the mess, and all that was left to do was a final rinse down. Remus rinsed his bucket a few more times and took the opportunity to wash his hands and face, which had grown hot from exertion. Sirius joined him at the sink, but they didn't speak. Nearly finished, Remus said tentatively. Sirius snorted, annoyed. No thanks to Wormtail. Shut up about Wormtail, will you? Remus said, exasperated. Grow up! Sirius frowned and said nothing. He washed his hands and face too. Remus tried not to watch. He turned back to his own wall and began squeezing clear water across it, wiping away what was left of the soap suds. A shadow appeared at his shoulder and he braced himself for more bickering. You missed a bit, Sirius huffed grumpily, elbowing Remus out of the way and scrubbing it himself. Affronted, Remus scowled back at him. Thought we were sticking to our own sides. Yeah, thought you could be trusted to do a decent job. If I didn't have you breathing down my neck the whole time... You're so sensitive, Sirius snapped. Nah, you're just acting like a prick. Remus elbowed him, harder than he really meant to. Sirius shoved him against the wall and Remus slipped, grabbing Sirius to steady himself. Furious, he pushed him back. Wanker, he said. Sirius kissed him.
Oh. I see how it's going.
Sirius kissed like nobody else, languid, firm, and unhurried. Remus responded instantly, hands fisting the material of Sirius's shirt, wanting to run his fingers through the other boy's hair. But Sirius broke away before he could, stepping back, looking horrified with himself. His lips were pink and shining, slightly parted. Remus had to look away. Remus, Shit, I'm sorry. I don't know what keeps happening to me. It's okay, Remus said, not meeting his eyes. You know I'm not a... Yeah, Remus said. Yeah, of course. Me neither. He said it quickly and without thinking. He said it to stop Sirius saying that word. They were quiet for a bit more. Remus's heart was pounding. He could hardly think straight. He reached out, catching the thin white fabric of Sirius's shirt between his fingers and tugging it slightly, finally meeting Sirius's eyes. No one's going to find out, Remus said quietly, echoing something he'd been told before. Sirius gazed back at him, his eyes burning. You won't say anything? Remus shook his head as Sirius came a little closer. Remus continued, braver now. I won't. We don't have to stop. Unless you want to. Sirius kissed him, full on the mouth again. They both knew they'd crossed a line, but it couldn't be helped now, and it was so, so good. And their bodies were hard against each other, hands fumbling with belt buckles, as if they'd known this was the plan all along. Once it was over, they clung to each other for long, exhausted seconds. Then Sirius withdrew carefully, stepping back. Remus longed to pull him close again, to never stop. He touched Sirius's hair one last time, pretending to push it back in place. They stared into each other's eyes, bold and unashamed for a few seconds. You're lovely, Sirius said, so softly. Remus could only smile back gently. He didn't know what to say. The room had grown cold. Come on, Sirius said, buttoning his trousers, looking away finally. We better finish this cleaning. Remus nodded, still mute, unable to do much more than lean back against the wall as he watched Sirius wash his hands again and pick up his mop. The sight of him walking away was too familiar, and Remus burst out, You're not... Don't run off this time. Sirius looked back, a bit surprised, and a bit something else. I'm not going anywhere, Moony. He spoke gently. Okay, good. Good then. I felt bad about that. Last time. Sorry. He was on the other side of the room now, and maybe that made it easier to talk. But I thought you'd be angry or something. I don't know. No, I wasn't. We're still friends, aren't we? Of course. We'll always be friends, Padfoot. Remus was making a promise, though his brain was too foggy to really recognize it at the time. Sirius had acknowledged, however shyly, that whatever kept happening was probably going to happen again. He'd assumed the role he always had, impulsive, expectant, and irresponsible. For his part, Remus took up his own mantle, the one who would be responsible. He would keep the secrets. He would accept what he was given. He would be responsible. If those are the things he needs, Remus decided, then those are the things I can give him. It was nothing at all. Brave, Sirius had called him once, in another bathroom not so long ago. Remus had not known then whether or not he really was, but he'd liked the sound of it at the time, and he liked it even more now. Now, with the taste of Sirius still on his lips, and the echoes of pleasure still settling in his body. As he watched Sirius finish sluicing down the far wall, encouraging the water down the drain with his mop, and glancing up to smile now and then, Remus realized what he had been waiting for this whole time was for Sirius to be brave. What occurred to him now with the clarity of a lightning bolt was that he, Remus, could be brave enough for the both of them.
Oh, man. Sirius is so scared.
Can you blame him? Lupin was so scared until he met Grant.
That's true.
Lupin was terrified.
Well, once he met Grant, I mean, he was just like, good to go.
Yeah,
You think,
that's fair.
Sirius is like in this weird, I don't know, weird purgatory where he's like ready to go, but not ready. He's Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's Padfoot.
Mm-hmm. He's in the closet.
He is in
He
the
is
closet.
both gay and not gay right now.
Yes. Yeah, he was like, I'm not but I want to kiss you. But
I'm not a,
well,
but
maybe Sirius isn't gay. Maybe Sirius is bi. We really don't know.
well, yeah. I guess, okay, not gay, but into Lupin,
Yes.
which he 100% is.
Yes. Which we have known for a hot minute. But
We'll
now he's
go
acting on it.
assuming where his sexuality lies, but
Yes.
we do know that Lupin is on that spectrum.
Lupin is totally gay.
No, I meant Lupin is on Sirius's spectrum.
Oh,
that he likes.
oh.
Maybe he just has a thing for werewolves. Maybe it's not dudes. It's just like, I love the fur.
Maybe. Maybe if Mary was a werewolf, it'd be different.
That's it. See, it wasn't about her gender. It was the fact that she was never bitten by a mythical creature and is cursed to live her life hated by everyone.
Katie thinks that Sirius just has eyes for Lupin and no one else.
I also agree. I think that could definitely be a possibility.
It's just true love.
Yeah.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that Lola is not climbing on me? She's not getting everywhere. She's just sitting in nice on my thigh.
Speaker, have you not been here? They've been so crazy. I think it's a full moon tonight, the way our animals have been acting tonight. They've been crazy. I still love you. Don't get me wrong, Gilly. Don't be sad.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the Lupin and Tonks thing resolves itself with this story.
Right? Is it just one of those things where Lupin's like, well, if I can't have Sirius, I don't want any other man. So I'll settle for Tonks.
I'm giving up men.
Or
something.
Like we've...
Or repress... Maybe he's like, I'm done with men. I'm going to repress my homosexuality.
Or my theory is Tonks can turn in and look like whoever.
I know that's your theory. I know. She's also related to Sirius. I know.
Saying she wouldn't have to do much work to change a few features, and then you got Sirius.
And all I'm saying is, Lola is being very nice, not demanding, and very nice.
She is.
She being a nice baby. Didoda.
And by God, the descriptions of that puss.
Yellow crustiness on the walls.
It was awful. Too much information.
You're making Bailey uncomfortable now.
Sorry, Bailey. You're just like there. Okay. I just had to get him in a comfortable position.
Yeah, but I think the pus was making him uncomfortable.
Oh.
He no like the pus.
No, I wouldn't either. Especially if I had to clean it without magic.
But he would probably lick it. What are you talking about? He'd probably eat it.
Ew. He wouldn't. He's not that gross.
Oh no, that would be weird if Tonks turned into Sirius. And she'd feel bad for Tonks.
I mean...
I would feel bad for Tonks too.
Yeah,
she loves him.
Maybe he just did it in a subtle way that Tonks didn't realize, you know? He wasn't just like, can you look like Sirius? He was just like, alright, so... Can you just, your hair a little bit longer? Here, let me see your smile. No, not like that. It's got to really radiate. Think of, Sirius's smile. He had a really good smile. Something like that,
Or maybe the story ends before him and Tonks get together.
I thought it said that it goes until his... Maybe it does.
I don't know. Maybe it just goes until Sirius is dead. I'm not sure. Oh boy.
I feel like that would be the smart move to have it end before then, just because I think it's going to be hard to...
Write that?
Yeah.
Alright, Lola. Go ahead. Leave me. I don't care.
And then...
It's fine. Krusty should only describe bread. I agree. Yeah. It should never describe things that were once liquid and are now solid.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. It's just no.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else possible that could be described as crusty.
The Earth's outer layer.
I was gonna say maybe rocks.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe rocks could be described as crusty.
Other than that,
Maybe.
no.
No. Agree.
If anything else, it is described as crusty.
Would you say that, Krissa? Why? God. Did you see that?
Yeah.
She
I mean,
feet can be.
gotta get some lotion, I guess.
Ew. That
Can't crusty snow. Okay.
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 Crusty
Fair,
snow.
fair.
That's good. That's a good one. Again,
That one
pertains to
doesn't.
the earth.
All right, that one doesn't stir my stomach.
Yep.
Crusty snow.
Crusty bread, crusty earth, crusty snow.
I mean,
Pizza.
but that's a bread. The crust is bread.
But it's
I guess it's okay. I'll
but
let
it's
it
not
slide.
a bread. But it's not crusty, just crust.
I've made pizza dough. I use bread flour. Actually, I don't for pizza. Okay, so never mind. Fair enough. I don't use bread flour.
I've seen some crusty hair in my day. Oh, I am conjuring up images that I have seen that I wish I have never seen. I have yellow crusty snow.
Oh no! You never eat snow.
Crusty mud,
Yeah,
like hard crusty mud.
but then it's dirt.
Crusty dirt.
Crusty mud is just dirt, and then it's the outer layer of earth. So
I knew someone would mention yellow snow. Yeah, you gotta. If someone mentions snow, you gotta talk about yellow snow. I guess.
those lemon snow cones are
You know,
never good.
you know nothing. Yellow snow.
You never accept a yellow snow cone.
No, never.
What flavor is it? Lemon. I swear.
I remember reading a book where someone described toenails as being crusty.
I would have put that book down.
I think it was Roald Dahl or something like
Look,
that.
I'm never for book burning, but I might make an exception.
Crusty toenails. I think it was a Roald Dahl book. But I can't remember.
It would make sense.
Yes,
Sounds more
yellow
like-
snow cones are a gamble. Do you take the risk?
You have to really, if you eat a yellow snow cone from someone, that is a sign of pure trust.
I think that is
the greatest sign of trust.
I think that is a bet that Minerva McGallion McGonagall would maybe take. She put some galleons down on whether or not that yellow snow cone Harry's about to eat is truly lemon flavored.
Filch wouldn't, because it's never lemon with him.
It's never lemon, he knows. He knows.
There are no lemon snow cones.
Mike says, I know we're fixating on
sad.
bodily functions, but an eye infection can in fact be crusty.
Okay. That's true.
That is disgusting,
Still
but it
disgusting.
is true.
But yeah.
Right? Roald Dahl. Maybe it was in the Twits. I don't know. Oh no, Mike, no. Don't go there. Or when you get like crusty eye boogies in the morning.
I remember one of the kids in it was like 3rd or 4th grade, someone in my class had to leave because of pink eye. I had no idea what pink eye was.
Yeah.
My mom was a nurse, so I went home and I asked her, "What's pink eye?" She's like, "It's when you get an eye infection." What? You can get an infection in your eye? And she must have been tired or something. She didn't feel like explaining it, so she took out one of her medical books
Yeah.
and showed me. It's like they choose the worst case possible
to put in the book.
It
Which-
was just so nasty.
Yeah, I'm knock on wood, I've never had pink eye. Ooh.
And I repressed that memory for so long, and now Mike just brought it back.
Pink eye memories.
Yeah.
Yay. All the memories. All the pink eye.
all the time.
The Twits.
Yeah.
I've never read it.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
book
want to.
does. I love that we're having this conversation at dinner time. Yeah, it is kind of dinner time, isn't it?
Well,
The Twits is
let's
pretty
hope the
gross.
only crust that's coming our way right now is bread.
No, not quite dinner for me either, Katie. I'm eating after. But I would agree that the Twits is pretty gross. It's pretty gross. The descriptions of what the Twits look like, they're yucky. They're yucky people. They're very yucky people.
I haven't read a lot of Roald Dahl.
Pie crust can be crusty.
Right in the name. Crust
Yes.
can be crusty.
Crust can be crusty. Thanks, Ben. Took us out of the darkness and into the realm of pie.
Except the best pie crust can be described as flaky.
As long as it doesn't have a soggy bottom,
Yes.
we're good.
Too much Mary Berry for you.
No, there's not enough Mary Berry. There's no such thing as too much Mary Berry. No,
So
no soggy bottoms.
What's the next chapter called? Is it?
I have to use the loop.
Is it Soggy Bottom?
No. Oh, let's leave it there. Let's
Yeah.
leave it at pie. Pie.
Yum.
We're done.
Pie, delicious.
Flaky, crusty.
Dessert for your dinner talk.
Chapter 101 is called, and I'm sure everyone who has watched any commercial or been in any business meeting at all at their job can attest to the name here. The next chapter is called New Normal.
Yeah, that phrase has been passed around way too much in the past year.
In these uncertain times.
Unprecedented times.
In these unprecedented times.
How long does something have to go on before it's precedented?
2 years.
They still talk about it being unprecedented.
In these unprecedented times, Sirius and Remus must now figure out how to make out while both wearing face masks and dealing with the rising difficulties caused by inflation and shipping
in their pants.
and shipping stoppages. How will they get their sweets at Honeydukes when the owls in Belgium cannot bring the chocolate to Hogsmeade to make the cockroach clusters?
We could just shorten that down to, how will they be able to taste the sweets when their tongues are interlocked?
In their pants. How will
someone caught that?
How will Mrs. Potter get
the
her
rising inflation in their pants?
How will Mrs. Potter get her 2-day delivery when all of the owls are stuck because of the shipping crisis?
Look, if wizards have to wait for 2-day delivery, I would be super annoyed. All right, you have flu powder. You have
the owls carry all the mail.
Yeah, but
they can only fly so
fast. If you pay extra, I'm sure they can just, poof it over to you.
Increase prices of owl pellets.
Yeah.
What if Harry can no longer afford to feed Hedwig?
I was going through some of the stuff on Pottermore, actually. I can't remember. I wanted to look something up because we were talking about it. I ended up clicking on flu powder. Flu powder has been the same price since it was invented in the 1800s.
Flu powder power, flu powder power, flu powder power.
So either...
That's a dedicated company that wants to really serve its customers well.
Either flu powder was charging way too much in the beginning, or inflation has never hit flu powder.
Well, I wonder if part of it is that wizards still use precious metals for their currency.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what you... gold standard. Gotcha.
So maybe that's why they don't have to deal with the old inflation business, because galleons and sickles are...
Maybe they did, but maybe it was the goblins' conspiracy to get the muggles to switch over to a different standard so that they could take more of the gold.
But the Chinese invented paper money. Was it
Did
Chinese
what?
goblins influencing everybody?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what ethnicity goblins are. I'm sure there's goblins everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. But paper money was invented by the Chinese. Did it just all the goblins?
That's what the goblins want you to think.
Maybe it is what the goblins want us to think. Oh boy, I am here for an economics debate on the gold standard.
Oh man, I don't know if we have time for that.
Do we even know if the galleons are made of 100% pure gold, or
Are they just gold plated?
Are they gold plated, or are they pyrite?
It's true.
Or are they 70% gold and 30% something else? You know how US coins are not remotely 100%.
No, they're all plated.
They're all like plated now, like it's questions. Who at the ministry governs economics? Who's that guy? Who do we need to talk to?
I don't know. I'm assuming probably no one there. They just go to Gringotts and like, you gonna handle this?
Although
goblins are like, yep.
To be fair, Harry Potter does take place in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Things was okay.
Yeah.
There was no crisis. Is there a magical mint? There must be a magical mint.
It's called the Philosopher's Stone.
My headcanon is that because the goblins make the money, they see all the money as their own, and the wizards are just renting it. They can take it back at any time. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a solid fact. I like that idea, Katie. Yeah, because they do make all the money.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that with Gryffindor's sword, how they feel about things that they make.
Yep, they don't give it away.
You borrowed that. You have to give it back at some point. Which is why wizards don't store their gold anywhere else but Gringotts.
Because it's only on loan.
Yeah. Although if I were the Malfoys, I'd be like, maybe I'm gonna take it out, put it someplace else. Before you arbitrarily decide one day, like, yeah, no, we're done. This is ours. You're done. You got nothing else.
I don't know. I feel like the goblins wouldn't do that necessarily.
The maker's mark is on every coin. Speaking of goblins, I'm pretty excited that a goblin rebellion is the focal point of the new video game.
Oh, yeah. We did watch that.
Yeah,
if anyone hasn't watched that, the new Harry Potter Legacy, Hogwarts Legacy, they just released a new trailer about that, and it's going to be focusing in on the goblin rebellions, and it looks great.
And on that note, I have to pee real quick before we read another chapter. I'm very sorry.
Okay. So maybe our questions will be answered about it. Maybe at the Goblin Rebellions is where it all goes down, and we learn about the goblins making the gold and taking over the currency system. I don't know if... I mean, it's mentioned. Maybe on Pottermore they talk about the Goblin Rebellions, but I haven't looked that up. Oh, there has been? There's been multiple Goblin Rebellions? Oh. It looks so good. I really hope it's good too. Like, there's so much hype behind this game. Me and Lex may honestly have to take the day off when it comes out to play it. She says she'll call out if she has to. Ah, there we go. Sorry, I can't come in for the next week. I got COVID. Isn't today the day the new Hogwarts game comes out?
Strand. Strand, whatever.
The black and green books are the Harry Potter collection, the Slytherin editions.
Yes, those are the Slytherin editions of all the books.
Lula's hair is just so apparent on me right
It
now.
is. Oh my god. And then underneath it are Philosopher's Stone and Azkaban illustrated editions, the first two pop-up editions, and then all of the books in Russian. Oh, and I forgot to take pictures for...
Did you say the Japanese version?
I didn't say the Japanese ones, which reminds me, I was going to take pictures before the stream, and I didn't have time. So, Katie, when we're done streaming, I will take pictures from Prisoner of Azkaban for you. She wants the character descriptions from Azkaban, and I totally forgot to take the pictures. I said, I'll do it when I get home from work, and did not do it.
Shame.
Um,
It is a pretty good looking set.
They're really beautiful, and we will be doing little book reviews for each of the books, so you can see them up close and in person. And
you can get each house too. She got the Slytherin for obvious reasons, but
you can get them in Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, or Hufflepuff as well.
I saw them all, and honestly, I think Ravenclaw might be the coolest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The Ravenclaw ones are really beautiful.
And I'm saying that as a Gryffindor.
Yeah.
I think the Ravenclaws look amazing.
I don't know. Those Slytherin editions is pretty nice.
They are. They're all nice. I'm just saying.
I know, the blue of the Ravenclaw editions. Yeah, they're pretty. The Ravenclaw books are really nice.
But anyways.
Shall we read another chapter?
Yes.
All right, let's read another chapter. There's another song, and it's a David Bowie song.
Oh, Krista, then I would definitely recommend getting the Ravenclaw.
Oh, yeah. Girl, get those books. And the nice thing is that the set itself, if you wanted to get all seven of them in the set, there are only like 130 for the set. But if you can't afford that and you have to buy one book at a time, they're only like $20 a piece to order them.
I mean, 130 for the set isn't that bad considering the illustrations and stuff.
Yeah, which we will show you when we do the Slytherin editions.
Yeah,
when we do the reviews, you'll see just the depth of.
Because most of the other illustrated editions would run you twice that for the whole set.
Yeah,
I mean there's more color in them.
Well, the
like black and white illustrations.
The Jim Kay illustrations, though, like all the pages they're illustrated throughout the entirety. They're gorgeous. It's just different. All right, so I'm gonna create my own tune for this David Bowie song.
You know it's a David Bowie song?
Yeah, I looked at the end. It's a David Bowie song.
All right, gotta get some of that classic rock vibe.
Oh, shadow love was quick and clean, life's a well-thumbed machine. I saw you watching from the stairs, you're everyone that ever cared. Oh lordy, you know I need some loving, I'm moving, touch me. John, I'm only dancing, she turns me on, but I'm only dancing, she turns me on, don't get me wrong, I'm only dancing.
That's pretty good. I haven't heard that David Bowie song. David Bowie song, but I would say that was pretty good.
Chapter 101, 6th year, new normal. Content warning for some sexual stuff in this chapter. Nothing direct.
Okay.
Hi, Pim. Hi, Pim. Hi, Pim. There's a Pim. There's a Pim. Mid-December, 1976. After that, it happened often. He never initiated it. He didn't need to. Sirius came to him. Remus would find himself pulled into an empty classroom or their shared bathroom. Once or twice, Sirius even crept quietly into Remus's bed, casting a silencing spell before forcing his shoulders down and running his hands over Remus's body, quaking with desire. Never under the covers, though. That would be queer. He would scurry out as soon as it was over. It almost always happened in a hurry. Remus knew that this was partly the shame of it, but he also knew that it was partly that they both just needed it so badly. When they were together, their bodies buzzed with the want for each other. No 2 times were the same. Sometimes they would be confident and bold, other times they were shy, and one needed encouragement from the other. Sometimes it wasn't even about getting off, and they were limited to just kissing, or at least Sirius's idea of kissing, which was brutal, fierce, and thankless. Remus's lips felt scorched, burned raw for days and days. Afterwards, they didn't talk about it, but, if time permitted, sat apart from each other and invariably shared a cigarette, silent until they were both ready to fall slowly back into their usual jokey banter. Remus felt at those times that Sirius probably would have preferred to be with someone else, a girlfriend, or even worse, James. "I'm not the one he wants," Remus told himself pitifully. "I'm just the one that's there." The worst part was that he knew that it was enough. If Sirius only ever came to him in darkness and silence, then so be it. It was better than going without. That someone like me gets to have someone like him. He had to share, of course. Whether it was Sirius's desire to hide what was going on, or he was simply unable to stay committed to one person. After Avni there were others. A parade of pretty, bright, cheerful girls. Florence and Daisy and Tessa and Eunice. Remus didn't think any of these trysts were serious, and in the beginning at least, he didn't begrudge Sirius's fun. "I never asked for anything more," he told himself. And Remus liked it being private. He'd never been someone who liked attention, and he thought that even if it was given, that whatever he and Sirius was doing was no different than what Sirius did with any of the girls he got attached to, that Remus would still probably prefer that James and Peter didn't know. Maybe he would have told them about Grant one day, eventually, but not Sirius. It was too complicated. He liked knowing that he and Sirius could be in a room full of people, and no one had a clue that what they'd been doing only the night before, or only 2 hours earlier. He liked getting away with it. He liked seeing Sirius with a girl and then thinking, "Never mind, later he belongs to me." He was allowed to be happy after all. He was allowed to have something all for himself, especially as, in other areas of Remus's life, doors were closing and things were being taken away. There was another werewolf attack during the December moon, which fell early in the month that year. Witnesses described more than one creature. They were working in a pack. The ministry was placed on high alert, and the whole school was talking about it. The Marauders didn't bring it up round Remus, not even Sirius. He couldn't blame them. He'd have bitten their head off if anyone had tried to sympathize or be kind about it. Still, he had to put up with everyone else, every other student in the school who'd taken to wearing silver jewelry or talking about the best way to fend off a wolf attack. "They ought to round them all up," he overheard one 5th year telling anyone who would listen in the dining hall one evening. "Keep them locked up, away from normal people." "Why can't they tag them?" Avni whispered the next afternoon when she, Sirius, Remus and Lily were watching the Gryffindor Quidditch team practice. "I mean, there's already a registry. Why can't they trace underage wizards? Why not put a trace on dangerous animals? It doesn't make sense." "They're not animals," Lily hissed through her gritted teeth. "They're people." Remus kept his eyes on the pitch. So did Sirius. "Tell that to the Mondays," Avni replied, straightening her skirt and giving Lily a superior look. "Tell that to this latest poor family." She shuffled closer to Sirius on the bench, hugging his arm. "Sirius, darling, I'm cold." "Go in, then," he grunted, shaking her off, eyes still on James, shouting something at his keeper. Excuse me? Avni frowned. You heard me, Sirius replied offhanded. Piss off. None of them saw Avni much after that. But it didn't stop other people talking. Remus had to disband his study group early because they all wanted to know if he would recommend any good books on half-breeds and defense against dark creatures. In the end, all he could do was tell them to talk to the DA professor, and if they didn't want help with actual schoolwork, then they may as well leave him alone. Lily found Remus working late that night in the common room, trying to catch up on the work he'd missed while in the hospital wing after the moon. He was exhausted and sore and extremely prickly, but she came over and sat beside him anyway, resting a head on his shoulder, an arm round his back. She smelled nice and gave him a gentle squeeze, sighing softly against his collarbone. She didn't speak, but Remus would always be grateful for that. In mid-December, matters worsened. Remus received 2 letters. Dear Remus, I hope that your 6th year is going well. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but as you already know, there was an attack during last night's full moon. Remus rolled his eyes at this. Why did adults always think that teenagers didn't read the news, especially when they were in the middle of a war and it concerned them directly? I have no doubt that Professor McGonagall will be speaking to you soon, but I thought I would get in touch. I've been talking to Alistair Moody, who is concerned for your safety. He tells me that you stay with the Potters every year at Christmas. The Potters are excellent people, and I know that James is a close friend. But Remus, they cannot be relied upon to protect you. They would do everything they could. Of this I have no doubt, but my feeling is that if Greyback attempted to track you down, then the only place he could not find you would be Hogwarts. I am not telling you what to do, of course, but I am begging you to consider your own safety and the safety of those around you. Best wishes, L. Ferox. Well, Ferox was clearly telling him what to do, even if he was just passing on instructions from Moody. Remus's heart sank when he finished reading this letter, but there was worse to come. Mr. Lupin, it has come to our attention that upon your 17th birthday next year you will be of a legal age as defined by your society. While the law of the United Kingdom states that you are still a child, we have been informed that your circumstances override this legislation. As of 10th of March 1977, you will no longer be under the care of St. Edmund's Boy Reformatory. Any items or financial assets held in trust for you will be returned to you no later than 30 working days following this date. There should be no need for you to return to the premises. We wish you the very best in your future endeavours. Sincerely, Mrs. J. Orwell. Fuck.
That's messed up. Oh, by the way, we're kicking you out. We'll send you all your stuff.
Remus read the letter only once, then shoved it down in the very bottom of his trunk. He couldn't think about that now. He told the Marauders about the first letter, omitting the Greyback details, of course. He had to. There was no other way to explain why he couldn't come to London for Christmas. More time for homework, he told himself. He mightn't be the only student staying. The 7th years with NEWTs coming up might stick round to take advantage of an empty common room. He could probably enjoy quite a pleasant Christmas in the library, if he wanted to. Plus, a Hogwarts Christmas dinner was nothing to turn your nose up at. It's not bloody fair, James ranted when he heard. You're no danger to anyone. The full moon isn't until the new year. It's a pack thing, though, Remus replied, loosening his tie and flopping down on the bed. It had been a very long day of lessons, and he'd had at least 3 hours of homework ahead of him. They're worried I'll get captured or join up or something. I thought Ferox liked you. Sirius frowned, dropping his book back carelessly in the middle of the room. He ought to know you'd never join them. He does know, Remus said, but he thinks they might force me or... Well, none of us really know what might happen if I meant another one. James, Peter and Sirius exchanged an uncomfortable look. Remus pulled off his itchy school jumper to give them a moment to think about it. When he resurfaced, his hair fizzing with static, he gave them his biggest grin. It's fine anyway, I really don't mind. It'll be great to have some peace and quiet. I'm looking forward to a Christmas break from you lot. James chuckled and shook his head. He grabbed his maroon Quidditch duffel bag. None of us believe you, Mooney. Right, I've got practice and then an hour of homework, then patrolling with Evans. Anyone else might have reeled off this list of obligations with a weary air of martyrdom, but James looked as though he was having the best day of his life. Fancy it, Black? Nah, you're all right, Prongs. Sirius shook his head. He hadn't stopped looking at Remus since he'd unbuttoned his school shirt. You go on. I'll get a head start on that charms homework. Yeah, right, James smirked. Who is it tonight? Florence again? See you. He clattered down the stairs, whistling a chirpy tune. Sirius turned to Peter. You go on and watch him then, Pete, if you fancy. Nah. Peter shook his head. He looked worryingly comfortable sitting on his bed, leaning against the headboard with his charms notes scattered before him. Oh, right. You're going to see Desi? Nope. He shook his head, licking the end of his quill nib. She's got patrol tonight, and she says we need to get serious about our studies now we're NEWT students. Can I do my homework with you two? Remus and Sirius looked at each other. Sirius raised an eyebrow. Remus shrugged. Sirius got up. I tell you what. I forgot to return that book to the library. Better go and... Oh, Mooney, while I'm at it, wasn't there another book you told me I should... Oh, yeah, right. Remus jumped up too, struggling into a clean woolen jumper. It's a complicated title. I better help you find it. Oh, do you want to relocate to the library then? Peter asked, finally looking up from his notes. No point, Sirius said as they bolted for the door. Won't take long. Won't take long? Remus muttered on the stairs. I had to say something. They made it through the common room without interference, but once they were outside in the halls, they were a bit lost. What about the 4th floor, girls? Sirius started. No! Remus snapped. Fine.
Yeah, we know who's in there. That's always awkward.
We know who's in there. Fine. Charms classroom is free, I think. On Fridays, Flitwick finishes early and there aren't any clubs. How do you know that? Oh, shut up and follow me, Sirius smirked. They put a basic alarm spell on the door and shoved a desk in front of it for good measure, but Friday afternoons were typically pretty safe. Everyone wanted to pretend the classrooms didn't exist. Afterwards they redressed, smoothed out their hair and sat on Flitwick's desk, smoking. We're going to actually have to go to the library now, Remus said, blowing a chain of rings. Nah, Sirius shook his head. Just say they didn't have an in. Well, that would be fine, except I was actually planning to do my charms essay this evening. Sirius rolled his beautiful eyes and tossed his beautiful hair. Remus fought the urge to sigh. The classroom was the same side of the castle as the Quidditch pitch. They could hear the faint but shrill sound of James's captain whistle somewhere below them. Sirius exhaled smoke wistfully. Remus wondered how much he missed playing Quidditch. He wondered if he ought to ask, or whether that would be too much. Mooney, are you definitely not coming for Christmas? Yeah, I've got to trust Ferox. He knows me. He knows my dad. He knew your dad? You never told us. I don't have to tell you everything. Remus gave an irritated twitch, sucking hard on his cigarette. He worked with him. He had a few chats about it, that's all. Well, if you trust him, then. I do. Remus was aware of his tone, but did nothing to temper it. Okay, I was just going to say... Sirius swallowed. Well, I mean, I could stay too. Over Christmas. At Hogwarts. If it's okay with you. Oh. Remus frowned, caught off guard, and turned to look at Sirius. Do you want to? You shouldn't be stuck all by yourself. James has his family, and Pete, if he gets really desperate. Yeah, but won't they expect you, James's parents? They're mad about you. He caught Sirius's smile at that, a brilliant flash of elation which made Remus's heart beat faster. They have a Christmas as a family for once without me crashing in. Come on, Mooney. Don't you want to share the common room with me? It'll be quiet and let you study if that's what you really... I'll be quiet and let you study if that's what you really want. He gave a coy smile, and Remus stubbed out his cigarette, leaned over and kissed him hard. He still hadn't really got used to being able to do that. As if, he said, pulling away, revelling in the warm blush in Sirius's cheeks.
Yeah, I think Lupin wants him to stay. Crazy
Won't
thought.
you stay with me? 'Cause you're all I need.
Oh, you.
This ain't love, it's clear to me. But darling, stay with me.
Ella noticed our fish tank. And the SpongeBob
Yeah, you can see the pineapple and Squidward's house. Yes.
pineapple under the sea.
Yes, that is a SpongeBob fish tank.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
But, wow. Peter. No, you're not doing it on purpose, but man,
What a cock block.
for real. Not being a good wingman here.
No. It reminds me of that chapter when Harry is trying to go to Hogsmeade through the humped witch statue, and Neville is just like, "Oh, you're going to the library? I'll go with you." And Harry's just like trying to lose him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's just
It's
and
not
Neville's
dawning on
Neville's just like clinging onto Harry desperately. Yeah.
Neville, I really need to study alone. And by the way, hi, Dan.
Yeah, Dan. Oh, it's wonderful to see you. We were wondering if you were gonna come. It's good to have you here.
You okay? That chapter really get you?
I'm just sitting here going, yeah, Katie, I would agree. Peter seems very clueless a lot of the time.
Yeah. In his defense, I really don't let him in on too much stuff.
That's
But,
true.
well, I feel like they're all kind of going and doing their own thing now, though. Because James is starting to work his way in with Lily.
Yeah, I'm going patrolling with Evans.
Sirius and Lupin, or, you know. And then...
Yeah, we know.
And then...
We now know.
Peter and Desdemona are studying.
I don't like the fact that her name is Desdemona.
Oh. Desi.
Desi. We're just going to call her Desi from now on.
I wonder what happens to her. Like...
Right? Because they've been together since, like, what, third year or something?
Right.
They got together really early in the all the young dude story.
Do they stay together, and then, you know, she's like all brokenhearted. She can't believe that Peter would do something like what he did, and
Well, she would assume that that Sirius killed him.
yeah.
I do feel like they're always excluding Peter from a lot. I can see why he's doing his own thing.
Yeah, they do. Because
He's very much like the third wheel clinging on to them.
except he's a fourth third
a fourth
wheel.
Yeah, but it's very much the
This is a tricycle.
Yes.
Right? Not a wagon. Back
Not
off,
a-
Peter.
not a wagon. But it very much is that he's the hanger-on of the three of them.
Yeah, he's the spare tire.
But he's trying. But he just doesn't cut
Because-
the mustard with the three of them. The three of them are just... They're just tight. They just are.
Well-
And they're on this level, and Peter is just not...
Going back through the earlier chapters, it was really like it was Sirius and James, and then
Right.
Lupin and Peter were just kind of in the background and kind of tagged along. But then
Right.
Lupin kind of moved in, and then it was the three amigos, three
Yeah.
musketeers, and Peter kind of stayed behind.
Never really quite...
Around the same time when he like gets with Desdemona. I think partly the reason why he got with Desdemona was to like have his own thing going on.
He's the Klingon.
Yes. Emphasis on cling.
Yeah.
E.
Yeah. I think his thing with Desdemona has
helped, I don't know, but yeah, I think that's why he's so heavily involved with her, because he's just not enmeshed with everyone else.
Maybe something's gonna happen to Desdemona, and that's what's gonna make him like lose it. And he's gonna go to the dark side.
No, I really want to know what it's gonna be that's gonna trigger the um the betrayal.
Right?
Hmm.
We're talking like this is canon, but it will be interesting what the author
How the
decides.
author presents it,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a story about them, and they were all friends, and he betrays them to
As
the
old friends.
to the deepest degree that you could betray someone. So, what spurs him to do that? We gotta, you know what I mean?
Maybe
I want to know what the author thinks is the factor or series of events that triggers Peter to go, you know what? Voldemort is a better option.
right.
Like there has to be some. What does Sirius and Lupin in 3 talk about? How Peter always needed more strong, powerful people to protect him.
Maybe there's gonna be
So
like
is there some kind of falling out that's gonna happen with him and the Marauders? Something where he doesn't think that the Marauders are gonna be able to.
the way I'm seeing it.
I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna be anything like the sudden. Oh, Peter doesn't like them anymore.
Where's your sudden and inevitable betrayal?
I think he's just gonna slowly like drift away from the Marauders, and then he's just gonna kind of be on his own one day, and he's just gonna be like, "Oh,
Get like ensnared
yeah,
by the Death Eaters.
yeah, pretty much." He's gonna have that urge that like I need, my bigger, better friends to protect me.
Maybe. I have not seen Star Trek Discovery, but I have heard that it is good. I'm a Star Trek fan. I'd give it a shot. I just have not. Have you watched it?
No.
Well, then how
I
do you
don't-
know?
Well, I won't say I'm a fan because I've never seen it. I never said I disliked it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm not gonna say I'm a fan if I don't.
I
feel
love
nothing
the
for it,
original
really.
series with all my heart and soul.
I know you have like that special edition collection
Yeah.
series.
I love the original series with all my heart, all my soul.
Harry Potter for the first. Oh, I bet.
Yeah, go figure. We still got to do those like little reaction videos, or we could do like that one guy did. We could watch and do a reaction of the Russian version of Lord of the Rings.
Is there a Russian version of Harry Potter,
No,
or like a Bollywood? Oh, if there's a Bollywood Harry Potter, we'll watch that.
I would totally watch Bollywood Harry Potter.
100%.
Is there a Bollywood Lord of the Rings?
I will watch.
I know there's
Bollywood
a-
anything.
I know
at least
that-
once. It's so great. They're like physics, laws of nature. I don't think so.
Bollywood is colorful and crazy, and
That's why I would.
it's
totally watch it.
Bollywood is fun. I remember the first Bollywood movie I ever watched. I couldn't even tell you what the name of it was, but I watched it and I remember just sitting there going,
I have no idea. I can't understand a word of what they're saying, but this is great.
I loved the music. Dancing into battle.
Yeah.
Their wands in the air, like I would be great. I can hear the music right now, and they could just be singing Expelliarmus over and over and over.
Leviosa, Leviosa.
I am here for that. You need Star Wars: The Third Gathers, Backstroke of the West. I don't know what that is, but I suppose I must Google it.
Yes. Yes, you must. I know what it is. Is it a Bollywood movie?
What is Star Wars: The Third Gathers? You must enlighten us now about what that is. Inquiring minds want to know. Right, Katie? The costumes, everything's just so colorful and beautiful. Everyone just looks beautiful in those movies. That's cool. You got to see a Bollywood movie at the theater, though. That's cool.
Right? I don't know any movie theaters that like show Bollywood movies.
We'd have to go to New York,
Yeah,
possibly Syracuse, because I feel like Syracuse might have like a Bollywood festival,
that'd be cool. I'd totally be down to do that.
that kind of a thing. I think we'd have to hit up a festival. I think that's the only way we'd be able to see Bollywood movies here.
It's episode
New York City.
3 translated into Mandalorian and then translated into English.
The Emperor says the Presbyterian Church enjoys you not.
Oh, does it just change everything into like Yoda speak? It
Oh, dear.
enjoys you not.
The Presbyterian enjoys you not. Oh dear Jesus.
Father, I am of you, Luke. Oh, Mandarin. Okay. I was gonna say
I don't know what Mandalorian sounds like.
yeah,
Right.
I didn't either, but I thought maybe
Mandarin.
that was
Got
Mandarin.
you. Got you. Well, because
That's why I was saying it turns everything into Yoda speak, because I thought maybe like the way maybe there
Mandarin
was a Mandalorian language, and that's like when you decipher it, it comes out like Yoda speaks.
Mandarin makes sense though why the word order would be messed up.
Yeah.
Because the rules aren't the same in Mandarin as they are in English, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Also, just speaking of like foreign films and stuff to watch, if no one has watched it yet, Servant of the People.
Servant of the People. I knew you were gonna start. I knew you were gonna go on that. You must watch Servant of the People, starring
Vladimir Zelensky.
Volodymyr Zelensky. Volodymyr. You gotta get the extra vowel in there, because otherwise it's Vladimir, and that's not the same. That's Russian.
Well, yeah, that's a big boo boo.
President Volodymyr Zelensky,
in his early days,
when he was still an actor and not leading a nation.
When he was pretending to lead a nation.
When he was pretending to lead a nation. And
But
now
yeah.
he's actually doing it.
We were talking about foreign films and shows, and I just have to throw that out there that it's on Netflix now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying watching it.
Watch Servant of the People. I think I've watched 9 episodes. I love it. It's great. It's great. I love the jokes and some of the jokes in the language that kind of don't hit quite right when you translate it, but if you know the language, they're great.
Yeah.
And just some of the nostalgia factors of some of the buildings and settings and things, and I just look at them and I go, oh, I've been someplace like this before. I know what this is. I've been here before. I know what it smells like in here. I know everything about it in here. So there's a huge nostalgia factor there. But
so
the show's fun.
Do you think we have time for one more chapter? It is up to you.
Yeah, we can do one more. If we do one more chapter, let's do it now.
All right.
All right, here we go. To go back to our crusty topic. Chapter 102.
Crusty crust.
6th year. Mince pies.
Oh, good crusty.
Good crusty. Mince pies. Wednesday, 15th of December, 1976. Okay, so I probably won't have time for another one of these until next term, Remus told his study group, glancing at the grandfather clock nearby. It was almost 9 o'clock in the evening. He looked up at their eager faces and had to look down at his papers again. It was unnerving commanding that much attention. But I'm here almost every night anyway, so if you just had some quick questions... Thanks, Lupin, the group chorused as they began to tidy up and disband. Happy Christmas, he nodded as they dispersed off to their own corners of the common room, or else to bed. Doda, you being allowed. You disruptive.
She's just playing. She's over.
Doda. Okay.
Ooh, we'll have to check it out after this. He posted a link to the Star Wars
Oh,
Discord.
all right, cool. Thanks. My favorite I'm sorry. I gotta just my favorite Star Wars video is the Bushes of Love.
The what?
The Bushes of Love. It's from the 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 Ad Libs channel on YouTube.
The ad libs?
Oh my god.
The bad lip readings?
Bad lip readings. They do
Yeah.
the song The Bushes of. Please, someone tell me they've seen the Bushes of Love Star Wars video.
I think you showed it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't remember what it was called because you showed it to me. But yeah. They sing the song.
They sing the song, yeah. 99 times.
Anyways.
They were waiting in the bushes of love. Okay, sorry. He fancied an early night himself. It was the last week of term, and he'd pretty much completed all of his work, unless his professors were feeling cruel enough to assign more in the last few days before Christmas. He yawned and stretched, leaning back on his chair with his eyes closed. Ahem. Someone was still sitting at the table, cleared their throat awkwardly. Remus opened his eyes, embarrassed, and swung forward on his chair. Oh, sorry. I thought everyone had gone. Sorry, Christopher replied, clutching a book. I just wanted to say Merry Christmas. Remus felt an awkward twist of relief and guilt in his midsection. Poor Christopher. Thanks. Merry Christmas to you, too. Big plans? The younger boy just shrugged. Just family. You? Staying here. Oh, not by yourself. Sirius Black is staying too. Of course. I heard about the stuff with his family. Remus didn't want to talk about Sirius with Christopher at all, but least of all about the Black family. Christopher was pure blood too, and likely knew more than Sirius was comfortable with. Well, Christopher made to stand. See you in January, I suppose. Wait, Remus said quickly, reaching out but not touching him. Christopher stood up but looked down on Remus, his eyes hopeful. Remus looked down. Lola? Someone's feeling feisty, I think.
I'm going to find all my toys. I'm going to play with them right now while you try to read.
I'm sorry about the way I spoke to you over before the summer. I was a right git. Christopher did not dispute this, but he smiled. That's all right. I hope it wasn't something I did? No! Remus shook his head vehemently. He wished Christopher would sit down. No, I promise. It was just me being a moody tosser. I had some other stuff going on. I shouldn't have taken it out on you. Okay. Well, thanks for saying so. Remus smiled, feeling a bit better. Christopher bit his lip, then said, So, do you fancy a visit to Hogsmeade in the new year? The bookshop has a January sale on, or we could just get a butterbeer. Sorry, Chris, I can't. Remus felt horrible, and he saw Christopher's face fall. Right. You're probably going with Potter and Black and what's-his-face? Peter. But I'm not... Actually, I can't go to Hogsmeade. I'm banned. Oh, really? Really, Remus nodded earnestly, grateful that he didn't have to lie. Is it to do with why you're not a prefect anymore? Yeah. Okay, that was a lie, but who was it hurting? Wow, okay. Christopher raised his eyebrows, and Remus wasn't sure if he was impressed or mildly concerned. Moony! Sirius's voice wailed from the stairs from the boys' dorms. James is throwing snowballs at me! Stop him! Remus laughed and began getting up. Snowballs? Christopher said wryly. In your bedroom? They open the window and scrape it off the roof. Help us, Moony! Peter cried. We need reinforcements! I can't believe you're friends with that lot, Christopher said with a bristle of indignation. They're so immature. So am I, Remus shrugged, rolling up his sleeves and standing up. I'm coming, lads, he yelled at the top of his voice, marching toward the staircase. Sunday, 19th of December, 1976. Doda, what are you doing? Doda. Where's the ball that doesn't make noise? It's right by your feet. Yes, give it to her.
There.
Doda, here. Eat that one. It was a bitterly cold winter that year, and snow began to fall early over the castle. The Marauders used this to great effect, and James perfected a spell which enabled the suits of armour which lined most of the classroom corridors to spit snowballs from their visors at various intervals. Remus liked the cold, or maybe he just liked wrapping up warm and sitting by the fire. In the winter, at least, no one asked why he wore long sleeves all the time. And he was excited, maybe more excited than he'd been for a Christmas holiday. He loved seeing the Potters, and he loved their house and their village, and being able to witness a proper family for once. But to be alone with Sirius for an entire week, that was something he could have never imagined happening, even 2 months earlier. They walked James and Peter down to the edge of the grounds, as far as Remus could go. You sure? James asked one last time. Ferox never said you weren't allowed, and Mum and Dad honestly wouldn't mind at all.
Where? She's never usually like this when we try to stream.
Lola! Play with the quiet ball. Lola, here, get this. You sure? James asked one last time. Ferox never said you weren't allowed, and Mum and Dad honestly wouldn't mind at all. Next year, hopefully, Remus shrugged. It might be all over by then, and I couldn't live with myself if anything happened to your family because of me. Black, you're really going to say no to Mum's mince pies? Ah, but I'm not, my dear Prongs. Sirius grinned from behind his red and gold scarf. She sent some ahead first thing this morning. I've got an entire tin full. Foiled again, James smirked. He hugged Sirius, then Remus, who was surprised by it. He couldn't remember if they'd ever hugged before. Go on, get on the train then, eh? Sirius punched him in the shoulder. You'll have Evans all to yourself. James winked at him, then hurried away, Peter scurrying along beside him. Behind him, waving to Remus and Sirius. The two boys stood behind, watching for a little while, watching the black cloaked students trudging through the pure white snow, all talking merrily about their plans for the break, the presents they look forward to, and their eagerness to see their families. Hiya, Remus! Christopher grinned at him, pink-cheeked, as he strolled past. Have a good one! You too, Remus nodded, smiling back. He felt much better now that the air had been cleared. That kid again, said Sirius. Who is he? I've told you before, he's a 5th year, in my study group. Right, he looks like a complete drip. He's okay, Remus smiled to himself, hoping Sirius didn't notice. A nasty voice came from behind him. What's wrong? Potters kick you out too? Remus reached for his wand as they turned and half expected to see Snape. He was surprised to find that it was Regulus Black standing in the snow, face pinched with cold. No, Sirius said hotly. I'm just staying here this summer. Why? Regulus asked bluntly. He narrowed his eyes at his brother as if waiting for the punchline. None of your business, that's why. Now run along, little Reggie. I'm sure Mummy's waiting. Regulus tutted and raised an eyebrow, as if to show that he would not rise to Sirius's bait. Remus hated it and clenched his fists, with Regulus either saw or sensed, because he gave Remus a sharp look, and Remus knew he was remembering their last altercation back in January. The younger boy visibly steeled himself, then spoke directly to Remus. Not a prefect any more, loony Lupin. I wonder why. Something to do with my delinquent brother, perhaps. Surely that greasy half-blood Severus wasn't telling the truth. Remus might have swung for him if he wasn't busy stopping Sirius from doing the same. They struggled together in the snow, Sirius snarling, "Take that back, you brown-nosing little—" Fortunately, Remus was stronger. Remus walked off, cackling toward Hogsmeade and the train. "I'll curse him from here," Sirius growled once Remus let him go. "I'd rather you didn't," Remus replied. He turned back to the snow-capped castle. "Look," he encouraged. "We've got it practically to ourselves." "Yeah," said Sirius, distracted, still shooting glances back at his brother's footsteps. "Come on, let's go in. Freezing my bollocks off." His bad mood lasted until lunchtime when they went down to the Great Hall. "Blimey," Sirius said as they entered the room. It was almost completely empty, with only 3 students, a Slytherin 7th year and 2 Ravenclaw 6 years, seated at the same table at the head of the room. "I reckon it's the war," Remus whispered as they approached the table. "Parents want their kids home this Christmas." "Just you and me then, Moony," Sirius grinned. "The orphans of Gryffindor Tower." Despite the small party, the hall had been decked out in silver and gold, with glistening streamers hanging like angel hair from every rafter, a dazzling tree that seemed to glow from somewhere within its branches, and a flock of jolly red-breasted robins enchanted to circle the room and whistle familiar Christmas tunes. Remus thought that Flitwick had really outdone himself this year. Sirius sat beside him rather than across from him, as usual. They didn't make much conversation with the rest of the party. The 2 Ravenclaws were obsessively quizzing each other on arithmancy, and the Slytherin was deep in conversation with Professor Slughorn. "Remember first year?" Sirius said as the food appeared. The house elves clearly weren't breaking for Christmas. "It was just you and me for Christmas then, too." "Yeah," Remus smiled at his shepherd's pie, warmed by the memory. He'd spent every Christmas with Sirius since he was 11. "Electric Warrior. We'll have to have a listen later." They did, too. They stretched out on the rug in front of the fireplace and lay on their backs, playing the album at full volume. Sirius played Monolith twice because he knew it was Remus's favourite, and Remus tolerated 3 replays of Jeepster for Sirius's sake. Full, warm and content, Remus quietly drifted off to sleep to the sound of Mark Bolan's pretty voice and twanging guitar. He woke up a little later with a sore back. He turned his head and found he was alone on the carpet and the record player had stopped playing. Sitting up stiffly, Remus looked round for Sirius, who was seated a little way away, curled up in an armchair, whispering into his compact mirror. Remus relaxed, leaning back on his elbows, and watched gently for a while, the firelight warming Sirius's features with a fine glow, softening his sharper angles into supple Grecian marble. He was so achingly beautiful. Obviously everyone knew that. Sirius's beauty wasn't just for Remus, but sometimes it felt like it was. It had nothing to do with wanting Sirius then. It was something more. It drove Remus crazy. Eventually Sirius whispered a goodbye to the mirror and snapped it closed. He smiled at Remus and slowly unfurled, stretching his long limbs over the sides of the armchair. Remus watched unmoving. "How's James?" "Fine," Sirius replied, that look growing in his eyes that Remus had come to recognize as a signal that something wonderful was about to happen. Sirius got up from the chair and sauntered over to Remus. "Misses me, obviously." "Obviously," Remus said, repeating without listening, just watching Sirius's approach. He towered over him, the firelight now blazing across him like a flare, streaks of gold flickering in his pupils. He sank to his knees astride Remus's still prone body and bent forward. Not too far. Not so far that Remus didn't have to stretch a little to close that extra space between them. He didn't mind. It was always worth the extra effort. They were used to each other now. Remus had thought it had been good in the beginning, the very first time. But after a month of secretive exploration, they developed an intimate knowledge that Remus hadn't known you could have with another person. He felt as in tune to the various movements and reactions of Sirius's body as he was with his own. He knew the language in every gasp or tightening, the code in his kisses, or the shapes Sirius traced on his own scarred skin. It made the moment that they parted all the more difficult, though. Sirius would be quiet at first, and Remus would just listen to his breathing, the hitch in his chest, the sighs of overwhelming calm. And he'd wait for it. The laugh, the cheeky grin, the slap on the thigh that told Remus it was over, and they were back to normal. "Fancy a mince pie? I'm starving!" There it was. Sirius leapt up, grabbing his jeans and wriggling into them before waving his wand. "Asio biscuit tin!" The big royal blue tin came flying from the stairs and came at Sirius so hard it nearly knocked him over. "Ugh! Your wand work is too broad," Remus said, buttoning his own trousers and putting on a t-shirt, too warm for a jumper. Sirius tossed him a mince pie, sitting back in the armchair, then rubbed his knee, wincing. "Carpet burn." "You should see my back," Remus replied, as if they were discussing the weather. He settled into the sofa opposite Sirius. They ate their pies quietly. When he finished, Sirius licked the sticky fruit off his fingers and brushed the crumbs from his torso. "Are you going to put your shirt back on?" Remus inquired, folding the tin from his pie into neat triangular portions. "Nah, no one's here." "Yeah, but still." Remus made a fruitless gesture. Sirius smirked. "Prude." Remus laughed, flicking the folded tin up at him. "Tart."
Well then, it sounds like they're having a good time.
I think they're having a great time.
Finally seeing what it's like to just be alone.
I mean, they gave each other carpet burn. They're having a good time.
Oh yeah. Next movie when... Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Ginny offers Harry to
Yeah,
go.
and it's so awkward.
I remember how awkward it was. I just don't
Yeah.
remember that she offered him the
A mince pie. Yep. Maybe it is. That's pretty funny if it is. It's pretty great.
Well, this kind of has paralleled quite a bit.
It does.
It works though. And yeah, we kind of missed the whole discussion about Quirrell being in a crusty turban. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. You know Voldemort be sneezing in there. And whatever
I was gonna
else.
say, like his bad breath.
Yeah. It's like being in a mask all day.
Right? It's like,
oh my god,
that's
Voldemort
like
knows what
coffee
his
breath was. Like,
Voldemort knows.
yeah.
Voldemort knows what the last 2 years have been like. He knows how it feels to be an essential worker.
That's right.
8 hours a day, no reprieve.
Voldemort, essential worker. What would the world be without some evil?
Every Harry Ginny moment in the movies is so awkward.
Exactly.
It's so bad.
That's why I can't remember a specific one, because there is no chemistry whatsoever.
When she bends down to tie his shoe for him. Gross.
It just looked like Harry was like, "Don't touch me. It's okay. I'd rather trip."
Yeah. Yeah, right. Apparently the turban smelled like garlic.
Voldemort really liked garlic, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe that's what Voldemort's breath smells like.
I mean, he kind of looks like a head of garlic.
No one knows what Voldemort's breath smells like.
I wonder if Voldemort did smell really bad.
Probably did. He's just a head, evil, corrupted soul leeching off your skull.
Take a shower, you know?
Oh my god, Katie, why? The mince pie moment. Yeah, she goes, "Open up, you." That's right.
Like, no, I will not.
So cringe. So cringe.
Bailey, come here. Bailey.
The only time in the movies where Harry and Ginny were okay were like the first two movies.
Right,
Because
when
it was
there
still
wasn't
cute.
supposed to be chemistry.
Right? Because it's just Ginny likes him. So when she comes down the stairs and she sees him and she's like, Mummy, have you seen my jumper?
And then she's just, yeah.
And then she just runs upstairs. Like, that was good. Just book in 6, she's supposed to be this badass, fierce, smart girl, and she is not portrayed as that in that movie at all. In fact, she's not really even in that movie at all. And it's just like,
except for those super awkward moments.
and like Harry and Ginny have really good moments where like she talks about being possessed and how she understands how Harry feels about being possessed. And oh my god, yeah, Ginny's singing Valentine from book 2.
Oh yeah,
Draco makes fun of it. Movie 2 was okay.
it was.
Like it you didn't have to have a lot of chemistry between the two characters. You just had to really show that Ginny liked him. That was really about it.
Yeah.
And then you get to 3, 4, start of 3 onward, she becomes more and more of an important character.
Right.
And as far as like being a part of the group, like in book 2, she's still kind of the little sister, even though she plays an important part. Like Harry saves her and stuff. But then in 3 and 4, she actually becomes a part of the group, hanging out with Neville and Luna and all that stuff. Like, no, the movies did not do Ginny justice. Not even close.
The movies really just did the Weasleys dirty.
They did.
Ron got depicted as awesome as he should be.
No,
Mrs. Weasley, Mrs. Weasley got it. They kind of named
it. Mrs. Weasley was good. Yeah.
Arthur was all right.
All of Ron's best lines were stolen by Hermione.
Yeah.
I
can't think of any, but I do know most of the later movies, Ron is just every scene is Harry and Hermione talking, and then in the background is just Ron looking sad, standing there
or looking dumb.
Yeah.
Arthur was okay. He just needed to be more.
Right. That's what I mean. Like just Arthur was all right. I just wanted more of him.
Mm-hmm.
Throw in more of his scenes.
Because, like, the actor was fine in movie 2 when he sits down with Harry and he's like, Harry, tell me exactly what is the function of a rubber duck? Like, that was great, you know? Ron was done dirty the most. Yeah, hands down. Ron was done the most dirty. He's Harry's best friend. I mean, I know that Hermione is also Harry's best friend, but Ron is his best friend. Yeah. He's his second. He's his best dude friend. It's different. He's his best friend.
And it's important.
And they make Hermione his best friend, and it's not the same dynamic, and it can't be. And it's just...
And it's important because is it movie 6 when Ron leaves?
No,
movie
6. It's 7 when Ron leaves.
Yeah, because 7's 2 parts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because when Ron leaves in the movies, it's just like, all right, peace.
Right. There's no emotional value to any of it. And yeah, it's terrible that Ron is made to be stupid because Ron isn't stupid.
Right. He's supposed to like...
He's actually very smart. It's just in a different way than Hermione is smart. And that's what makes them so good together. It's supposed to be like
Ron kind of says things that at first glance seem like dumb, and Hermione's supposed to like kind of belittle him, but in the end
he's actually right.
Oh, Ron's right.
Yeah.
They missed that end part.
Well, and that's why Ron and Hermione are so good together. They both have this intelligence about them that complements the other, and they keep each other grounded because Ron is very strategically intelligent. And he is very brave, and he is all of these things, but you don't get it in the movies.
Yeah.
And you don't get why Hermione would be into Ron or respect Ron. But it's because Ron is smart. She sees the intelligence he has. It's just not the intelligence she has. It's different.
Yeah.
And you don't get the dynamic of why Ron is Hermione. Like Katie is saying, like, people who watch the movies don't understand why Ron is Harry's best friend or
That's
why
true.
he's in Gryffindor, because he's a non-character.
It's gonna be interesting. We're gonna have to talk about like the contrast between Snape in the movies and the books too, because we are gonna have to do our
Great Snape debate. Yes, we will have to do the Great Snape debate.
because this was the last week. Just taking the poll as it is right now, and I'm pretty sure most people say he's gray, and then the next closest is that he is a good guy.
Or
Actually,
maybe
bad.
he is bad guy, but he is not bad guy. I don't know. So we'll have to schedule that for maybe the next couple of weeks. Maybe not this Saturday's live stream, but the next Saturday's live stream. Maybe we can do it. We'll do the Great Snape debate and hash it out
100%.
with everyone and have that discussion. Yeah, Snape is so different in the movies. Very much so.
He's not as mean in the movies.
Oh,
He
no,
needs to
not
be
even
mean.
close. Snape needed to be way more mean in the movies. He was not remotely as mean as he should have been. Hands down. I will 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Like, I figured Gray would win out. I knew that. And then I figured good and bad would be like neck and neck. But it's like a large margin for good over bad.
I wonder if there are a lot of apologists out there. I'm just curious to see what people have had to
Actually,
say.
We do. I can't remember all the comments, but there were some really good comments on that post. I'm going to pull up the post right now and see what the exact percentage is currently.
Oh, I was going to say. I think we're going to have to wrap up soon because I think
We are. I figured this will be the last thing we do. We can look at the post real quick.
63% say that Snape is gray, 27% say that he's good, and 10% say that he's bad out of 239 total votes.
That's right. So over double say that he's good and bad.
I need a couple of weeks, so I think not this Saturday, but next Saturday, because I need to get some documentation together to
Oh, okay.
discuss
You're getting
this.
like official.
I'm getting official. If this is the
something
Great Snape debate,
notarized.
this is the Great Snape debate. We need to have the conversation. If we're gonna have the conversation, we need data and evidence to back up our claims here.
Oh, of course.
Where is the poll? It's on our channel.
Yep. Hold
Go
on.
ahead and post in the link
here. Yeah, I was gonna say, might as well just go ahead and post the link for anyone in the chat right now who
wants to get in on last minute weigh-in
Has
on
not.
the Great Snape debate. Time to take notes on a reread. Yeah, gotta take notes. Oh, I'm not just taking Harry Potter notes. I'm pulling from other resources in literature, sir.
Oh, really?
This is not
You're
just we're gonna pull.
compare.
We're not pull.
contrast.
I'm not pulling just scenes out of Harry Potter. I'm gonna be talking about other things. I gotta pull in more evidence here. This is a debate. I'm going to come with information. You can't just I think because no. Here's where I think the thing because of this. This is
Okay then.
this is I'm if we're
I mean,
gonna
I'm
have
not
this.
gonna get into it now because
No, we're not getting into it now. But I'll pull Cursed Child. Oh well, I will not pull Cursed Child because that's not canon.
I am of the 10% too, Z, and
That
I am
he's bad.
sticking with it.
That he's bad.
Yes.
I think Katie is in that 10% too.
Yeah.
I only need the books to make my case.
Exactly.
Just,
Books are all I need.
all I need are books. I'm just saying.
Maybe some. I'm gonna investigate Pottermore, see if there's anything on him there.
All the evidence we need is on the page.
That's right. In
Well,
black and white.
I firmly believe that as well. All you need is Harry Potter, but
So why you feeling a little nervous?
no, because go big or go home. It's all the evidence is on the page, but Rowling has been inspired by other works. Just saying.
Yeah, but I mean, redundancy.
There are only 5 stories in the world. Everything is just a variation on everything else.
Yeah. So
There are only 5 stories in the world, but the variations are infinite. I'm just saying. I'm gonna pull that in.
all right. I'm saying. I mean, I don't think we're ever gonna have a clear winner in the end.
No, we will never have a clear winner, but we
It'll
will
be
have the
nice to have
discussion.
the final.
Yes.
All the info out there.
And then just for Katie, we will have one about Dumbledore.
I think
I think we'll do the Great Snape debate, but then I think at some point
Because-
we will have to have just like a Dumbledore discussion.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much to talk about with Dumbledore.
Well, we can do that afterwards. I'm gonna take down the post, and maybe after on the day we do the Snape debate, I'll start a Dumbledore poll.
Yeah, there we go. We'll do a Dumbledore discussion.
And it is actually going to be one of my points why I think Snape is bad, but Dumbledore is good.
Oh my God! Okay,
There's a difference because someone argued that they pretty much were doing the same thing. You know, they kind of had a very similar past, and
I think I was talking about that.
Maybe, but there was also a comment.
Oh, okay.
Because someone said, like, how can you think Dumbledore is good when he was like,
right.
thing as Snape.
Katie is like, yes, the Dumbledore discussion. I'm here for this.
Yes.
Yeah, we're definitely. I'm with you, Biggs, on the Dumbledore thing. We'll definitely do the Dumbledore discussion next. I just feel like we had to do the Snape discussion first to just get it out of the way because we always get sucked into the Snape conversation, and we just got to do it, get it out of the way.
Krista brings up a good point. When we do the Dumbledore, we're gonna have to watch Fantastic Beasts just so we have all the info.
But that's not canon.
Says who?
Says me. There are 7 books.
Says you.
That's canon.
Well, you're reaching outside of the books for Snape.
That's for philosophical conversation. That's not for That's not for actual factual evidence in book. This is for philosophical.
So she admits it that her evidence that resides outside of the books is totally false.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I want to bolster my philosophical conversation. It's different. The meat is the books. But if I'm going to elaborate on an ideal, I'm going to build on that with other references to illustrate the idea that I'm trying to discuss, and then use the book for the factual evidence of this is the thing.
I don't know.
You just.
It's like acquiring evidence without a warrant.
Either way, we do have to watch.
Thrown out.
Either way, we still do have to watch Fantastic Beasts. I do
it's
know.
A bad thing.
Well, because they're going to be terrible. I know they are. Well, the first one's not going to be terrible, but the second one's going to be awful.
I don't know. I mean, I've only watched the trailers for them. After we saw the trailer for the new one, I watched the other trailers, and they don't look bad to me.
Katie said the first one was decent. Like, the first one's good.
I don't know. I'm just saying I'm willing to give them a shot.
Well, we got to give them a shot. I'll watch them. I'm just saying I might hate them the entire time.
Fantastic Beasts is a better source of information than non-Harry Potter books.
But Fantastic Beasts is only good for Dumbledore information.
Well, yeah.
It's not good for the Snape debate, but it's great for Dumbledore information, sure. Maybe we should do reactions to the movies. We could do that.
I'm down.
I'm down to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. That being said,
because
I think I have to go talk to my mother. I know that's a terrible way to end a stream.
My mummy is calling.
My mummy needs to talk to me. I gotta go talk to my mummy. We should do reaction videos. I'm down to do it.
All right, that's fine. Is the Fantastic Beasts movies on HBO?
Yeah, they're on HBO.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure they are.
We could do that.
Let's do it.
I was gonna say we were gonna watch the Harry Potter movies anyways.
Well, you got to get some B-roll.
Well, yeah. All right, so there you go. That's the plan.
All right, we were gonna do reaction videos to the Harry Potter film, so might as well do Fantastic Beasts.
Even though I think we should do Fantastic Beasts first because
we've not seen them.
Yeah. It'd be much better.
Yeah, no, we should do Fantastic Beasts first. Then we can go through and watch Harry Potter and listen to me complain the entire time.
Yeah, I'm not
about
looking forward to that.
how awful it is.
I might have to end up watching it by myself. But okay. Yes. See you later.
Have a good one, everybody.
Have a good one.
We will see you on Saturday.
On Saturday?
Saturday afternoon. We'll see you in a couple